Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? How is everything at home? We are going to start the solution to the mock examination that you did last time. Then we are going to start with the theory parts. The question that I have on the board is question number 1 of your theory part, whereby we have solve the equations. That is question number 1A. Question number 1A says that solve the equations. 3x plus 2y is equal to 12, and 5x minus 3y is equal to 1. This type of equation is what we refer to as simultaneous equation. And in simultaneous equation, we have like 3 or 4 methods in which you can use to solve simultaneous equation. But for the purpose of this class, I am going to use elimination method. We have elimination method, substitution method, graphical method, and some other methods that people usually use. But in this case, we are going to use elimination method, which is one of the methods that is most acceptable anywhere. Now we have 3x plus 2y is equal to 12. I am going to consider this 3x plus 2y is equal to 12 as my equation 1. We also have 5x minus 3y is equal to 1. I will consider this one as my equation 2. Now in elimination method, you are going to look critically into the questions. Make sure that one of the 2 variables given to you. Here we are given x as one variable, y as another variable. We are looking for both x and y. In that case, look into the 2 equations given to you. Which of these variables have the sign in front of it to be positive? Here we have plus 3. Here we also have plus 5. The other side of it we have plus 2, and we have what? Minus y, minus 3. In that case, this side that have plus and plus, that have the same side, plus 3x plus 5y plus 5x. In that case, I want to consider x to be eliminated. Elimination simply means you want to eliminate one of the what? One of the variables. Either you want to eliminate x or you want to eliminate y. But I decided to eliminate what? X. In that case, for me to eliminate x, the value of x in the first equation must equal to the value of x in the second equation. And the question given to me, the value of x in the first equation does not equal to the value of x in the second equation. In that case, I need to make sure, find one way or the other to let the value of x in the first equation equals to the value of x in the second equation. How do we now go about this? Look into the 2 equations. What is the value of x in the first equation? The value of x in the first equation is 3. Use that 3 to multiply everything that you have in equation 2. The 3 of equation 1, this is to multiply everything that you have in equation 2. The value of x in equation 2 is 5. Use that 5 to multiply everything that you have in equation 1. Now, 5 multiplied by 3. Here, we are going to arrive at 15x plus 5 multiplied by 2. We are going to arrive at 10y is equal to 5 multiplied by 12. This one will give us 60. 3 multiplied by 5x in the second equation, we are going to have 15x minus 3 multiplied by 3, we have what? 9y, which is equal to 3 multiplied by 1, we have 3. Let me now consider these new equations as this one equation 3 and this one equation 4. Now in that case, I want to eliminate x. I can now decide I want to subtract the whole of equation 4 from the whole of equation 3. Subtract equation 4 from equation 3. I can now rewrite by writing it in this way: 15x plus 10y is equal to 60, and 15x minus 9y is equal to 3. I cannot draw my line here and put the sign minus here because I want to subtract the bottom one from the upper one. From here, 15 minus 15 will give me what? 0. Here, 10 minus 9. There's something that's very important here, that is this minus. Plus here belongs to 10. Minus here belongs to 9. If I now say 10 minus from the subtraction that we have here, minus 9. This minus belongs to 9. Anywhere the 9 is moving to is going along with the minus. In that case, we are going to apply mathematics here. Minus times minus. This one will give us plus 9. That is why 10 minus 9 will give us 19y equals to 60 minus 3. 60 minus 3 will give us 57. In that case, if you have 19y, 19, we are left with 19y equals to 57. What are we going to do to achieve our aim, to have the value, to get our value for y? A step we are going to take. That step is we are going to divide both sides by the coefficient of y here, which is what? 19. 19 is the coefficient of y here. We are going to divide both sides by 19. Now, if we divide both sides by 19, we are going to have this 19y all over 19 equals to 57 all over 19. When we arrive at this 19, we cancel 19. And this particular side, we are left with what? Y equals to 57 divided by 19. How many times are we going to see 19 in 57? That is in 3 times. Therefore, our value of y is equals to 3. Now, we also need the value for x. We need the value for x. What you are going to do to get the value of x is this. Since we already know our value of y to equal to 3, take any of these equations. It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3, it may be 4. Any of these equations that you decided to pick, you are going to have the right answer, the right value for x. Now, I want to decide. I pick that of equation 2. If I pick that of equation 2, it will now be substitute for x for y in equation 2. The meaning of substitution here means I want to replace y. I want to replace y with 3 in equation 2. Our equation 2 is 5x minus 3y is equal to 1. If that is the case, 5x minus 3 into bracket, what is the value for y? That is 3 is equal to 1. 5x 3 times 3 is what? Minus 3 times plus 3 will give us minus 9 is equal to 1. 5x now in this case, before I write this one, there is a step that you people is common. That is collect like terms. Collect like terms in the sense that in the expression, the one that have the one that have alphabets will be on one side, while the one without alphabet will be at the other side of the equality sign. In that case, we have 5x to be in this side. This is minus 9. Don't forget, minus 9. 9 is now moving from this particular side to the other side because 9 does not have x. Is equal to 1. 1 is outside already, waiting for minus 9 to come. But for the fact that minus 9 want to cross this equality sign to the other side, is going to change from minus to plus. That is plus 9. Now we have 5x is equal to 10. We are looking for x. Divide both sides by 5. 5x all over 5 now equals to 10 all over 5. 5 will cancel 5 here. In this particular side, we have x equals to 5 here 1, 5 here what? 2. Our value for x now is equals to 2. Therefore, x is equals to 2, comma, y is equals to 3. When x is equals to 2, y is equals to what? 3. Don't forget, you can cross-check it. You have been taught already. You can cross-check this. How are you going to cross-check? You make use of equation 1 and 2 or any of this equation. If you decided to use equation 1, replace x in equation 1 with what? The value of x, which is 2. Replace y in equation 1 with the value of y, which is what? 3. By the time you sum it up, 3 times 2 will give us 6. Y 2 times 3 will also give us 6. 6 plus 6 will give us what? 12. If what you get here does not give you what? 12, that means something is wrong with your answer right from where you start solving it. You need to cross check. Now let me cross check this one for you. The first equation that we have is is 2x plus y. The set is equal to 12. And our value of x is 2 plus 2. The value of y is what? 3. We want to prove whether this particular expression will be equal to 12. 2 times 3 times 2, that is 6. Plus 2 times 3, that is what? 6. 6 plus 6 is equal to what? 12. That means it is what? The answer that we get is right. Let us also use the equation 2. Equation 2 says that 5x minus 3y is equal to 1. Let us test. This is 5 into bracket 2 minus 3 into bracket 3. 5 times 2 is 10. Minus 3 times 3 is 9. We want to know this one will now equal to 1. That is how you cross-check your answer in simultaneous equation, whether it is right or wrong. And in that case, we are going to move to the question number 1b. The first one that we solve is question number 1a. Let us move to question number 1b. Now question number 1b. Question 1b says that you have to find the compound interest on 60,000 for 2 years at 8%. 1B, find the compound interest on 60,000 naira for 2 years at 8% per annum. Now this topic is very important. Why is it important? Because when we say interest literally in English language is what you have interest, what you have feelings in. But in mathematics, what you have feeling for, that is in English. But in mathematics, interest has to do with additional money, or let me say additional amounts that you pay after you have paid the original what? After you have really paid the original tax that you are asked to pay for. Or in the other sense of it, some people used to borrow money. When you borrow money, they are now going to tell you that you are going to pay interest. Interest in that case means that after you have paid the money that you borrowed finished, there are still going to be an additional money that you are going to pay. Just depends on the agreement made. Now here you have to find the interest, you have to find the compound interest on 60,000 naira for 2 years at the rate of what? 8% per annum. At the rate of 8% per annum. Rate of 8% in the sense that this particular interest, there's a formula for it. The general formula is I is equal to P R T, P times R times T all over 100. Our P here from the question, which can also be referred to amount, is 60,000 naira. The rate is 8%, while the time is 2 years. Do not forget, you are not asked to find the simple interest. You are asked to find compound interest. In this case of compound interest, you are given 2 years. You are going to split these 2 years into what? Into 2. That is, remember that 1 year plus another 1 year, that is what gives us was 2 years. We are going to calculate the interest for the first year and after interest for the second year. Interest for the first year, we are going to, I want to tag that one I1, which is equal to P times R times T all over 100. What is our P here? 60,000 naira times, what is our R? 8% times, now is it these two that we are going to use? Assuming we are calculating simple interest, we are going to make use of these two. But for the fact that we want to calculate compound interest, we are going to use 1. That is, we separate it 1 year, another 1 year. If it is 3, we are going to calculate for another what? 1 year, making 3 years. But for this case, it's 2 years. 60,000 times 8 times 1 all over 100. If you calculated this thing very well, you are going to arrive at 0. We cancel this is 0. You are going to arrive at, let me write it at the top. Our I1, we are going to arrive at that is 4,800 naira. 4,800 800 naira. That is for the first year. Interest of the first year. Now interest of the second year. That is going to be I2. Or you also say interest second year interest. Interest for the second year. That is going to be I2 is equal to P times R times T all over what? 100. In this case, the principal that we use for the first one is not the same principal that we are going to use for the second one, for the second year. How do we determine the principal for the second year? We are going to determine that by saying that our principal for the second year, principal of second year is equal to the rate principal plus the I1. What is the rate principal for from the initial stage? That is 60,000 plus our interest for the first year is 4,800 naira. The total is now 64,800 naira. That is the principal for the second year. Now we want to calculate. I2 is equal to 64,800 naira multiplied by the rate still remain the same, 8 times the second year, which is what? Year, which is also 1. 1 all over what? 100. 0 we cancel 0. And if you calculated this thing very well, you are going to arrive at 5,184 naira. 5,124 naira. That is the interest for the second year. Is that where we are going to stop? No, we are yet to reach the final stage. Now we want to get to the final stage. That final stage is this. Our compound interest will now equal to compound interest will now equal to interest of the first year plus interest of the second year. What is the interest of the first year? That is 4,800 naira plus what is the interest of the second year? That is 5,184. If you total everything together, if you sum it up, you are going to arrive at 9,984 naira. 9,984 naira. That will be our final interest, our final compound interest for the 2 years that the person borrowed 60,000 naira. The final interest, compound interest, is 9,984 naira. This simply means that after the person has paid 60,000 naira finish, he or she will still need to pay additional amount of 9,984 naira. That is why Islam forbids the so-called all these lapo and the rest, whereby people normally borrow money and based on interest. It is not good in what? In Islam. One of the reasons is that for anybody that struggle to get 60,000 naira finish and you are still expecting such a person to pay additional amount of what? 9,984 naira. That is almost 10,000 naira. Adding this to that of 60,000, is it not up to, that is 70,000, roughly 70,000 naira, which is not the best. That is why people encourage Islamic cooperative society. So have it at the back of your mind. That is the best for you. Now the next question, which is question number 1C. Question 1C. Question number 1C. Question 1C says that a basket contains 30 eggs. A basket contains 30 eggs, comma, 9 of the eggs, 9 of which are bad. If one egg is picked at random, what is the probability that Roman figure 1, it is bad. Roman figure 2, it is good. Roman figure 3, not good. Roman figure 4, bad or good. Roman figure 5, bad and this is the question number 1C. Now it is clear that this question is on the topic called probability. It's on the topic called probability, in which you are also being taught. The first step you are going to take here, if you look at the question critically, a basket contains 30 eggs, 9 of which are bad. If one of the egg is picked at random, what is the probability that it is bad egg, it is good egg, not good egg, bad or good, bad and good? Now you start your solution by, first thing that you must let us know is that what is the total number of eggs that we have. The total number of eggs that we have is what? 30. We have 30 eggs. The question now says that total number of eggs is equal to 30. 30 eggs, 9 eggs are bad. Number of bad eggs. Number of bad eggs is equal to 9. Number of good eggs. This will equal to, how do we determine number of good? Well, we already know that 9 out of 30 are bad. In that case, that is going to be 30 minus 9, which is equal to what? 21. That means out of 30 eggs, 9 are bad, 21 are good. The question is now asking the probability of bad eggs. Roman figure 1. Probability, I am going to represent probability with PR. Probability of bad eggs. Probability of bad is equal to, it's very simple. What we are going to do here is that the number of bad eggs determined all over total number of what? Eggs. That will give us the probability of bad eggs. probability of good x, that is number of x that are good, all over total number of x. Now, the probability of bad, number of bad x, all over total number. Total number of x. That is, the number of bad x are what? 9. 9 all over total, which is 30. If you look at this fraction, truly it is a simple fraction, which is also referred to as what? Proper fraction. But there is something that can divide the numerator and denominator. 3 can go. 3 in 9 will give us what? 3. Why 3 in 30? That will give us what? 10. The probability of bad x is now 3 all over 10. The next one, which is probability of good x. Probability of good x. Probability of good is equal to number of good x all over total number of x. This will now give us what? This will equal to number of good x that we have is what? 21. Total number is what? 30. That is 21 all over 30. This is another simple fraction, but something can divide. That is what? 3. 3 in 21 will give us 7. Why 3 in 30? That is what? 10. The probability of good x is equal to 7 all over 10. Now the next question, which says probability of not good. Whenever you see probability of not simply means that it negates the true information. That means we are going to have 1 minus. In probability, when you see the word not means 1 minus that particular, the probability of that particular question. The probability of not good, that means this is probability not good. This simply means 1 minus probability of good x. Not good means 1 minus probability of good x. What is the probability of good x? We have determined that earlier. Now we are going to transfer it here. That is 1 minus probability of good, that is question number 2. Probability of good is 7 all over 10. 1 minus 7 all over 10. Oh, this now set. It refers you back to your primary school. This is one of the fractions that people normally solve when you are in primary school. 1 minus 7 over 10. You are going to find what? Thank you. Find the LCM, which is equal to what? 10. The LCM is equal to 10. Draw a line. Write 10 below it. When you write 10 below it, you are going to assume that this one is also a fraction, which is 1 all over 1. 1 all over 1. 10 divided by 1 is what? 10. 10 multiplied by 1 is what? 10. You write it here as 10. Put minus. 10 divided by 10 is what? 1. 1 multiplied by 7 is what? 7. 10 minus 7, this will give you 3 over what? 10. It's a simple fraction, nothing can divide. Now the next one, we say that probability of bad or good. That is from figure 4. Probability of bad x or good x. Please always have it at the back of your mind that in probability, when you see not means 1 minus the probability. And when you see or simply means what? Addition. Or in mathematics means what? Addition. Now in that case, the interpretation of this one is simply means probability of bad or probability of good, which is the same thing as probability of bad plus probability of good. Addition. What is the probability of bad? That is from question 1. We arrive at 3 over 10. That is 3 over 10 plus probability of good. That is question 2. That is 7 over 10. 7 all over 10. This is another simple fraction in which your younger ones in primary 2 or 3 can solve it easily without any stress. What are you going to do? You are going to find the LCM. The LCM here is equal to 10. If your LCM is equal to 10, then draw a line horizontally. Place the 10 beneath it. 10 divided by 10 is what? 1. 1 times 3. That is 3 plus 10 divided by 10 is what? 1. 1 times 7. 7. This will now equal to 10 all over 10. And in mathematics, 10 over 10 is equal to what? That is 1. The probability of bad or good is equal to 1. Is equal to 1. Now the last questions, that is the probability of bad and good. Probability of bad and good. Okay. Probability, that is fine. Probability of bad and good. Interpretation of this simply means probability of bad, and in probability simply means multiplication times probability of good. What is the probability of bad? From 1, that is 3 all by what? 10. Times, what is the probability of good? That is from question 2, that is 7 all over 10. 3 times 7. This will give us 21 all over 10 times 10 is what? 100. And that is the final answer for the probability of bad and good. At this point, please, I want you to try as much as possible. Always have it at the back of your mind that in mathematics, or let me say in probability, not means 1 minus the question, or means what? Addition of the two probabilities given to you, and means multiplication of the two probabilities given to you. You determine the probability of the first one, determine the probability of the second one, then you now multiply the two together. That is how you are going to solve it and have the right words and have the right answer. This is the answer to what? To question 1C of your mock examination. I wish you best of luck. Truly, all of you are all with your scripts. As you are at home, you can take your scripts beside you and start cross-checking some of the areas where you made mistakes. Some of the areas where you made mistakes. So in that case, please do not use everything, do not just relax at home and start watching films and some other things. Try to deviate yourself totally from external distractions. Focus your attention, and at the same time, this period happens to be a Ramadan period whereby prayer is also must not left behind. Prayer is also important as you are praying, and at the same time also focus your attention on your studies. May God Almighty Allah helps you, reach you in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I wish you best of luck in all your deeds. May God Almighty Allah also helps your parents and give them sound health and long life.